Hello, everyone. I am Hanna, Evolutionary Astrologer, and welcome to my channel. So, today I want to talk to you about some of the biggest misconceptions about astrology. Because astrology is becoming more and more popular. It's becoming more part of our culture, our language, our lexicon, our lives. And terms such as, for example, Mercury retrograde or Saturn return, they're becoming more and more a part of our daily language, which is truly amazing because more people have access to it. More people have access to this cosmic manual for life that can really, really help us navigate existence, navigate our lives, understand our lives. And astrology is so profound. And when well used, it can truly be life changing. It's an incredible tool for self development, to gain more understanding, to gain more awareness to who you are and your purpose and your lessons in this life. And what is this life about for you? What is your vocation? What is your mission? What are your struggles and your challenges and your relationship dynamics and your family dynamics? Like it is truly amazing because it encompasses everything and at such a profound level. But as amazing as it is, there can be a lot of misconceptions. There can be a lot of misuse and a lot of oversimplifying these really deep concepts into cliches. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about today. I want to share the five biggest misconceptions about astrology. First one, you are just your sun sign. So most people will know their sun sign. So for example, a lot of people will say, you'll hear people saying like, I'm a Leo, I am a Capricorn, I am a Gemini. And that means that from the perspective here on Earth, when you're born, the sun was going through that particular sign, right? And the sun in astrology is about the I am, my self-expression, my life force, my purpose, my contribution in this life, my creative expression in this life. So that's why most people know what their sun sign is, but there's so much more than just your sun sign. You are so much more than just your sun sign. You have a moon, you have a Venus, you have a Saturn, you have a Mars, and so on. And they're just as important. For example, like the moon speaks about all of the emotional processes, how we feel safe, how we process our day, how do we digest the day that we just had, how do we digest our emotions, like what do we need to feel safe and to feel, nurtured. So important to know where your moon placement is. Same thing with Venus, our relationship dynamics, that's all Venus territory. What kind of people we're attracted to, what kind of people are attracted to you, how we show up in our relationships, what our relationship needs, what do we need in relationships to feel good, to feel like, you know, I feel good in this relationship. Mercury, health. All of our health dynamics are very much related to Mercury. Same thing as employment, work dynamics, your colleagues at work. So every planet has important themes and they're equally important. And we're such complex beings, right? Like there's so many facets to who we are and how we operate and our psyche. We're so rich. So how can we simplify so much in just one thing? It doesn't work. It's such a disservice to the complexity of who we truly are, right? Which takes me to the next point, which is that we are not just one sign, right? We're made of the 12 signs because the 12 signs from Aries to Pisces, they represent everything in existence, all forces of existence, which means that we need them all to exist. So we all have Aries, we all have Taurus, we all have Gemini, we all have Leo, we all have every single one of the signs. So, and we not only have the 12 um, signs in our charts, in our constitution, we're made of that. We're made of these 12 forces. We're made of these 12 energies. But of course, it's going to depend, that's going to be different from person to person, how these 12 forces are assembled, how they're operating within us, in our lives, in our own context. And secondly, just as important, how we, through our own free will, using those energies. So let me give you an example. We all have Scorpio in our charts, right? We all have Scorpio in our lives. In Scorpio, in our charts, in our natal charts, it's that, and again, we all have that. We all have that somewhere. But that, Scorpio represents all the parts in ourselves that feel insecure, that feel like, we feel limited, that maybe I'm not beautiful enough, smart enough, good enough, where we feel weak, where we feel vulnerable. That's all Scorpio territory. We all have that, right? We have all experienced that in different ways, in different contexts, different people, but that's part of the human experience for all of us. But through Scorpio, through those experiences, we also have a choice. We can stay in that insecurity, we can stay in that vulnerability, and we can use that to hurt others, to manipulate, to make them feel they're not good enough, right? And that can lead to all types of behavior like aggression, jealousy, being overly, trying to control people, trying to manipulate people. Or another route that we can take is to take a deep look within ourselves, to look at our shadows, to face those insecurities, to face those limitations, and to look deep within, right? And we can choose to work on ourselves, to develop ourselves, to go to therapy, to talk about those insecurities, to work through those insecurities and to heal and regenerate and get stronger. So this is all Scorpio territory. This is all within that school of Scorpio. It can range from destruction and weakness and abusing power and taking control over, trying to control all the other people, all the way to re-empowerment, regeneration, healing. And again, it's through our free will and the options, and the option to choose how to work with these energies in our lives. So, we get to participate, we get to co-create. I hope that makes sense. And that's going to take me to the third misconception, which is there are bad signs and there are good signs. There are bad planets, there are malefic planets, and there are good, easy, fun planets. Drives me crazy because that is bad astrology in action. And it goes back to what I was just talking about. It takes away the responsibility, right, from working on yourself, facing yourself, and blaming someone else, blaming something else, blaming a planet out there, the sign, whatever, instead of taking responsibility for our own crap. So there's no such thing as a bad sign or a good sign. There is, on the other hand, how you choose to use those energies, right? So the only thing that the sign is doing is providing context, it's providing understanding, it's providing tools, it's giving us a way to think outside the box, and evolve and grow and expand and heal. So if astrology is putting you inside a box and locking you in there because you're this, because you're Gemini, because you are a Scorpio, because you are whatever, or if you're using astrology to put someone else inside a box, oh, I won't date this person because they are a Cancer, because they're a Sag and they're never going to commit, or every Leo is arrogant, every Leo is entitled. If you're doing this, you're using astrology wrong, and it can be more damaging. It can do more damage than good because, the intention of astrology is to elevate our ways of perceiving everything. So if it's locking us in rigid thinking, then that's when becomes detrimental and problematic. Fourth misconception is that astrology is a belief system. No, it is not. Because, when people say, for example, I don't believe in astrology, that actually doesn't make any sense. Because astrology is a language. It's a language of symbols. It's a language of glyphs. And it's a very complex system. You know, the majority of the people that, the majority of the people have access, the only access they've had to astrology is a sun sign column. It's these oversimplified words. So the majority of people don't understand how vast, how complex, how intricate, and how mathematical it is. So if you don't understand the system, you can't understand the message. An example, I don't personally speak Russian. I don't understand Russian. So if I see something written in Russian or if I hear someone speaking it, I won't be able to understand it, right? I don't have that knowledge stored in my data bank. So I can't just, but I can't just say, well, I don't understand Russian. I don't understand it, so I don't believe in it. I don't believe in Russian. I don't believe Russian exists. Well, it does exist. You know, I can understand it or not. And that's very much how astrology works. In order to understand this language, you must learn it. It's not a matter of faith or belief because it actually proves itself. You don't have to look for proof. It actually proves itself. Um, but you have to first understand what you are looking at. And then the more you understand it, it literally proves itself to you. And people don't realize how scientific it is and how mathematical it is. And it works so much on the principles of observation and correlation. So that's what astrologies do. That's what we've been doing for many, 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 many years. We can date it back to the Egyptians and the Babylonians. Like they're looking at the skies. They were observing the skies and the movement of the planets. And then they would bring that back down here on Earth and correlate what's happening out there with what's happening down here. It works within the principle of as above, so below, as within, so without, right? So this is why it's connecting heaven and earth. And this is why it's such sacred, it's such an important practice, and it's so important to be taken seriously and to be used responsibly because it carries deep, deep, deep information and deep knowledge and messages and codings and it's not a belief system, it's a language. Last one, fifth. The fifth misconception about astrology is that planets are out there doing something to you. Mercury's out, it's out there thinking, oh, this month I'm really gonna mess up her life. I'm gonna mess her routine. Her computer's gonna, I'm gonna personally break her computer and her cell phone and every single gadget in her home. No, the planets are not out there trying to get you. They're not trying to ruin your life. Here's what's happening. So, first of all, we are all interconnected. You know, it's not like, oh, they're far away. They're out there, we're down here, and there's nothing connecting us. We're not just terrestrial beings. We are cosmic, galactic being as well. So we don't just live here on planet Earth. We're living within a solar system. Just like you live in a neighborhood, within a city, within a state, within a country, within a planet, we're also part of, ecosystems that are much greater. They're much bigger than us, and we are a part of it. Just like we're a part of a team. So if we understand what those team players are saying, what they're, the language they're speaking, what their messages are, then we can work within the team. We can align with everyone and we can understand the dynamic of the group. So it's the same thing here. If we understand the language of our solar system, the themes, the messages, the energies, the frequencies, then we align with it. We can move with it. We can use it in our benefit to make things grow, to create, to let go of things, to release things, and so on. So we can understand the cycles in our lives instead of pushing against it. Um, so it's all about moving with the flow, but not like we're passive, not like we're not doing anything and life is just taking us to places and the universe is doing all the work. No, it's about co-creating, co-shaping. It's about being conscious of it and consciously participating. Um, and it works so much like a mirror. It's very much, like I've already mentioned, the Hermetic principle of as above, so below, as within, so without. The frequencies and the energies that are out there are also within ourselves. The frequencies and energies they live within. And a proof of that is that we're made of the same components of the stars, carbon and nitrogen and oxygen. Like we're not so different. We might look different, like I don't look like Jupiter, but Jupiter is made of 75% or over 75% hydrogen, which is one of the most abundant elements in our bodies, in the human body. So within us exists an entire universe, a very complex ecosystem of cells and atoms and molecules, they're very reflective, you know, in the formation patterns of the stars out there in our solar system. So it's the microcosm and the macrocosm. So again, we're not separate. We never been. And that is the role of conscious astrology, is to remind us, is to connect us, is to translate and to unify us with, what's out there, but also what's down here within. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this clarifies a lot of things. And I will see you next time.